Some golfers are known for their records, others are remembered for their dramatic comebacks. But Tom Purtzer, he's known for something truly unique, the smoothest golf swing in history. We're getting into the story of the man with the silkiest motion to ever grace a golf course. But why isn't his name mentioned as often as other golf greats? You'll be surprised by what we found. Our team dug deep, scouring archives from Sports Illustrated, Golf.com, and ESPN, analyzing old footage. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the end, because we'll reveal the surprising reason why even some of the biggest golf legends envied Purtzer's swing, but never tried to copy it. Now let's get down to business. What makes his swing so special? Let me show you how he does it. When people talk about the most beautiful golf swings of all time, Tom Purtzer's name is always in the conversation. His swing was effortless, fluid, and almost hypnotic to watch, a motion that made golf look easy. Fellow pros, commentators, and swing analysts often called it the sweetest swing in golf, a title that was well-deserved. His motion is so smooth, so fluid, that it looks almost effortless, like he's barely even trying. But that's the magic of it. His swing wasn't just about power, it was about rhythm, tempo, and near-perfect mechanics that made the ball fly exactly where he wanted it to go. Unlike some of the more aggressive hitters of his era, Purtzer's approach was more about finesse than brute force. He didn't overpower the ball, he let his technique and precision do the work. Many players strive for what golf instructors call an effortless power, rather than powerless effort, and Purtzer embodied that idea. His backswing was wide and smooth, his transition was seamless, and his follow-through was picture-perfect. He made the game look easy, even when it wasn't. It's all about rhythm. Unlike modern power players who rely on aggressive movements, Purtzer's swing was smooth, unhurried, and controlled. His tempo was impeccable, never rushed, never forced. A big reason for this was his sequencing. He moved through each phase of the swing in perfect harmony, from the takeaway to the follow-through. His transition from backswing to downswing was incredibly fluid, avoiding any abrupt movements that could throw off his timing. Legendary golf instructor Butch Harmon once said that Purtzer's swing was so smooth it looked like he wasn't even trying. But don't let that fool you. Behind the elegance was a swing packed with efficiency and power. Can't wait to know the real reason why this legendary swing isn't widely copied? Stay tuned. It's not what you expected. Now breaking down Tom Purtzer's swing. What made it so effective? Purtzer's grip was neutral to slightly strong, meaning his left hand sat comfortably on top of the club, while his right hand fit naturally underneath. This grip allowed him to maintain control without excessive pressure, which contributed to his fluid motion. A light grip pressure was essential to his effortless release, preventing tension in his arms and shoulders. His hands were consistent in their positioning, ensuring repeatability in his swing. A key lesson here is that a relaxed grip promotes a smoother release and better wrist hinge, making it easier to square the club face at impact. His setup was a textbook example of balance and athleticism. He maintained a stance slightly wider than shoulder width for stability, with a slight knee flex that kept him ready to move. His spine tilted away from the target and set up the correct launch angle, allowing for a clean strike. This foundation ensured he could move freely through the swing without restricting his motion. For any golfer, a good setup is crucial. It determines the fluidity and efficiency of the entire swing. One of the standout features of Purtzer's swing was his wide, fluid backswing. He made a full shoulder turn, coiling like a spring, while keeping his hands in a natural position rather than lifting them too high. His wrist hinge happened naturally rather than being forced, and his weight shifted to the inside of his back foot, creating stored energy for the downswing. Many players try to artificially force a bigger turn, but Purtzer's motion was completely smooth and natural. The takeaway here is that a wide, controlled backswing generates effortless power without unnecessary tension. His transition from backswing to downswing was exceptionally smooth. One of the biggest reasons his swing looked so effortless. He started the movement with his lower body, subtly shifting his weight forward before dropping his arms into position. This prevented any over-the-top motion and allowed his club to shallow naturally, leading to a perfect inside-to-out path. Unlike many amateurs who rush this phase, Purtzer remained relaxed, allowing his sequencing to unfold naturally. The key takeaway is to let the lower body lead the downswing rather than forcing it with the arms. Purtzer's downswing was all about efficiency, not force. He maintained his spine angle, avoided any excessive dipping or rising, and allowed the club head to lag behind naturally. His hips rotated smoothly without snapping too aggressively, ensuring his rhythm remained intact. He also kept his hands passive until impact, allowing the club face to square naturally rather than forcing a release. Many golfers try to hit the ball rather than swing through it, but Purtzer's downswing showed that proper sequencing is the key to effortless power. At impact, Purtzer was in a picture-perfect position. His hips were slightly open, his hands were ahead of the ball, and his club face was square to the target. His lower body remained stable, preventing unnecessary movement that could throw off his strike. Many amateurs struggle with either flipping their wrists or getting stuck at impact, but Purtzer had the perfect blend of control and power. The lesson here is that keeping your hands ahead of the ball at impact leads to crisp, consistent ball striking. We're almost at the end. What do you think is the real reason behind why this legendary swing isn't widely used? One of the most admired aspects of Purtzer's swing was his effortless follow-through. He finished high and balanced, without any excessive lunging or falling off position. His shoulders fully rotated to the target, and his club extended naturally down the line, showing that he swung through the ball rather than just at it. A good follow-through is often a sign of a well-executed swing, and Purtzer's finish demonstrated his perfect rhythm and control. To summarize, Tom Purtzer's swing was a masterclass in smooth mechanics and proper sequencing. His relaxed grip, wide takeaway, effortless transition, and balanced finish all contributed to his fluid motion. His swing showed that power doesn't come from brute force, but from efficiency and rhythm. If you're struggling with consistency, take inspiration from Purtzer's approach. Focus on tempo, balance, and proper sequencing, and let the club do the work. Finally, the wait is over. As great as Tom Purtzer's swing looked, it wasn't necessarily the most effective in terms of producing consistent results. Let me reveal why it wasn't a widely copied swing. While his rhythm and ball striking ability were undeniable, there were key factors that prevented him from becoming a more dominant player on the PGA Tour. One of the biggest limitations of Purtzer's swing was his lack of strong lower body movement. Unlike many of the best players in history who used their legs aggressively to generate stability and speed, Purtzer's swing was more upper body dominant. This reliance on timing rather than raw power made it difficult to generate the kind of explosive distance seen in modern golf. Players with more lower body engagement tend to have more repeatable swings under pressure, whereas Purtzer's method required near-perfect rhythm and sequencing to work effectively. Additionally, his transition move, where his upper body slightly backed away at the start of the downswing, introduced a small inconsistency in delivering the club face square at impact. In an era where precision was everything, this slight movement could lead to occasional miss-hits, especially under pressure. Another key weakness in Purtzer's game was his short game. While he was a beautiful ball striker, he didn't have the world-class scrambling ability that many greats relied on when their long game wasn't firing. Players like Seve Ballesteros had a short game that could salvage rounds and turn bad swings into pars and birdies. Purtzer, on the other hand, was not known for his ability to get up and down from difficult positions, which meant he didn't have the same margin for error as some of his peers. Ultimately, while Purtzer's swing remains one of the most admired in golf history, its reliance on timing, minimal lower body movement, and the absence of an elite short game meant that he wasn't able to dominate the sport the way others did. His mechanics were smooth and efficient, but they may not have been built for long-term success under the highest levels of competition. Tom Purtzer's swing remains one of the most aesthetically pleasing in golf history. His smooth tempo, effortless motion, and impeccable balance made him a joy to watch, and his ball striking ability was undeniable. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth golf content. Stay tuned for more swing analysis, player spotlights, and expert golf tips to help you improve your game.